Andy, I feel like it's been so long. I don't think I remember how to do this. Are we live?
I don't know.
I think it says we're live. Welcome to Squared Circle Radio. I am your phenomenal host, Mr. Podcasting Chris Belcher, alongside my tag team partner, the young buck, Mr. Andy York. And right off the rip, sincerely apologize for the last couple of weeks. Personal matters have gotten in the way on both sides here, and we just have not been able to get it together. But ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And Andy, it's always a good night when we come back, and the tribal chief has graced us with his presence.
Yeah, I figured tonight was going to be a wild night just because we were actually doing the show this week. Some things, we were preparing for it.
Yeah.
And you sent me the notes for the show, and then at the bottom you said all this might change depending on what happens on Raw. And here we are. You kind of changed the plans last second to jump in and talk about it. But yeah, man, it's been a wild weekend of wrestling, really a wild week of wrestling. There's been a lot of wrestling this week to cover.
There's been so much going on. AEW had a big weekend. Of course, they had ROH as well. And you had NXT, you had Evolution, you had Saturday night's main event. I'm sure there's some other promotions that I'm not even covering that had some wild things going on. It's a huge week in wrestling. Wrestling is super hot right now going into I guess we're almost, Andy, out of the summer months, really, but it seems like that things are just really heating up on the road to SummerSlam. If you are joining us for the first time, or if you have been with us for a long time, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Drop those comments and questions. We are taking them live on our YouTube channel. And if you are watching the replay, you can also drop those comments as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We would appreciate that so very much. Andy, let's get into it, man. I said it. It's always a good night when the tribal chief returns. There he is, Roman Reigns. StreamYard has apparently done some wild things to where we're not getting covered up now. But there's Roman right in the middle. Look at that. That is strange. It's going to be a new navigation for us. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway.
Listen, that's the fun part of live broadcast. You never know what's going to happen.
I was sitting here thinking that I needed to drop a comment in the YouTube chat to prove that we're live. No, I just proved that we're live because I have no earthly idea what happened. Oh, I know what happened. Scratch that. Here, I know exactly what happened. We'll just fake like that didn't happen. Let's talk about Roman Reigns coming back, man. It's always a great night when that happens, but he comes on the tail end of CM Punk winning a gauntlet match to get a shot at Gunther at SummerSlam. One could say that could have been Seth Rollins' spot. Roman could have been facing Seth. Roman could have been facing Punk. Man, just so many things are in question right now. As you're watching all this, you said it was a huge night. As you're watching all this, where does your mind go?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where he has to show up sooner rather than later if he's going to wrestle at SummerSlam at this point. I mean, we're 2 weeks away at this point, and it feels like we've just now started to build to it because there's been so many other shows in between to get to this point. But yeah, it feels like it's a really big deal for him to come out. Obviously, he didn't outright help Punk. He just kind of, took care of Braun, took care of Bronson, helped Jay back up to his feet. It makes you wonder, like, was the original plan before all this, was it still Punk Gunther, and you had Seth Roman at SummerSlam and maybe a potential Seth cash-in at SummerSlam on Punk if he won the title or during the match to take the title away from him. But I wonder, what way we were kind of heading before then. But it's always good to see him. I mean, when that music hit, obviously as things were kind of breaking down, I texted you probably 10 minutes before this happened that I had a feeling that Roman was going to show up tonight.
You did.
I thought he was going to show up during the match to help. Because here's my question. Since when is there no disqualification in a gauntlet match?
Yeah, that's true. Because you can get
disqualified. When is that a thing?
You can get disqualified and lose the gauntlet, your spot in the gauntlet match. I thought.
And then, like, when Bronson pulled Jay down, I'm like, oh, Braun just got eliminated. That's where we're doing Jay and Punk. And then Cole on commentary instantly said, no disqualification. And I went, wait, when? When is the gauntlet match no disqualification? That to me makes no sense that they did that.
Right.
But yeah, it's an awesome night to see him come back. He's one of those guys that anytime he's involved in anything, it's going to feel like a big deal. It's going to feel important. And it seems like we're potentially heading to Roman Braun, which I think is a really, really good indication of how much faith and how big of a push Braun is going to receive, later on this year, I think too.
I think especially now that Seth is down with an injury, if in fact it is legit, I'm still going to bring that up. I know that I have gone back and watched the clip of him getting hurt several times, and it's not by looking, because everybody in the internet wrestling community is saying, oh, he landed just fine and blah, blah, blah. I'm not watching the landing. I'm not watching any of that. What I'm watching is the sheer look of panic on his face when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, you can see his eyes change when it happens. And so on one hand, I'm like, oh man, that's such a legit injury. But Andy, you and I were in the building in Nashville in 23 when we did this injury where Corey Graves helped him out. Him and Austin Theory. Yeah. And there was this knee injury that Seth was hurt and blah, blah, blah. And 2 weeks later, he came out on crutches and he threw the crutches and he was miraculously healed. I'm just saying, I don't want to be insensitive, but they've done it before. And especially now, Andy, that CM Punk has won this gauntlet match, it's the perfect storm for him to cash in and screw CM Punk again.
Yeah, and I think that thought's kind of been in the back of my head too. I still lean towards the side that it was legit, just because of how quickly they went to the finish right after too, and the way, like you mentioned, like Seth's whole demeanor just changed to where it looked like he was, even in the corner when he was talking to the doctor and to the ref and to Paul, he had a panicked look on his eye of just like, not again. Because I think it's the same. I mean, I think it's the same exact knee that he hurt in 2015.
It was his right knee. So
that's the knee that he jacked up on Saturday night too.
His right. I'm trying to think. Yeah, his right knee is the one he hurt Saturday night for sure. I don't remember the one before, but I do know that last year it was his left knee, because when he was planting for the stomp, that's when he started going down and not planting on that other foot. So that was his left last year.
Yeah, and I think, oh man, when did him and Triple H fight at WrestleMania? Was that 2017?
Yes.
I think it was either, I can't remember what. I mean, he's had a lot of knee problems over the years, going into it, and so I think that is part of it. I think that plays a big role in all of it too. So whether it's real or whether it's not, I think it plays. I think it's definitely changed some things, to make all this adapt it more. Or I don't really know, because I feel like the match that a lot of people would rather see would be Roman versus Seth. However, I'm not disappointed in Roman versus Braun, because I think it's going to be a fantastic match too. But I'm just curious as to what the original plans for all of this still was.
Yep. Okay, so I am listening to you. So I'm looking this up. So the Triple H injury in 2017 was the right knee.
Okay.
The ACL in 2015 was the right knee. This past weekend was also the right knee. It was last year heading into WrestleMania 40 that it was the left knee.
Left knee. Yeah.
So, man, dude, I mean, he wrestles like it. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying he's reckless by any way, but like he doesn't pull anything. He doesn't pull any punches, and it sucks that I'll say, sorry, CM Punk, that the real best in the world is hurt and we're losing him again.
Yeah.
There's a chance that it's a work. And I put these notes together. I texted you. I put these notes together before Monday Night Raw tonight. And for those of you watching on the YouTube screen, you cannot see what's highlighted because my handwriting is terrible. Andy knows that. But the highlighted portion of my notes says, I still think there's a chance it's a work. Same thing happened ahead of WrestleMania 39, Raw in Nashville. Cash in, especially if Punk wins. I wrote that long before Monday Night Raw tonight. So I'm not saying it's a thing. It's possible. Now, what I will bring up, Andy, we don't know if this is legit or not. Everybody is throwing out their opinions. And let me tell you one of the stupidest opinions that I read today. It's from our friend Brian Alvarez. Okay. Normally, I like to dog on Dave Meltzer, and Alvarez is not horrible. Okay. But what he said today was just stupid. Did you read this?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So Alvarez says that they did the match to do the injury on TV because Seth was already hurt. Why on God's green earth, Andy, would they have wrestled for 15 minutes if he was already hurt just to do one spot in the match? Would that
And
not
why do it on the lion tank, like on the lion salt move?
Exactly.
Why not do it on like going for a stomp? He may land on it and like tweak his knee. That one's not good.
2 minutes into the match, not 15 minutes. Or better yet, Andy, I don't know, do an angle to get him out of the match to begin with.
Yeah.
No, it's just ridiculous. But
yeah,
here we are.
I don't like either one of them, so I'm just gonna not say anything. I think
just a whole lot of takeaways, man, from the main event of Raw tonight and how Seth Rollins is weaved into this, and Paul Heyman still carrying the Money in the Bank briefcase. Yeah. We heard Triple H say at the Evolution press conference that I believe it was Evolution, might have been Saturday Night's Main Event, that the initial prognosis of Rollins' knee did not look good, and that he was supposed to get an MRI today. Don't know the results of that. We know that LA Knight, I guess it was during one of the Netflix commercials, cut a promo and did say that he wished him well. He turned it into, he wished that he was going to do it, but Rollins did it to himself, but whatever. I do take that wishing him a speedy recovery as serious. But let's not take away, Andy, from the fact that no matter if Rollins cashes in or not, CM Punk is getting a World Heavyweight Championship match at the first ever 2-night SummerSlam this year against Gunther. Whether this is a pivot or not, Andy, this is a match we've all wanted to see.
It is. And, it's one of those things. I think we talked about it going into Night of Champions. I think one of the questions we asked was, is this Punk's last opportunity to win a world title? I feel like this is his best opportunity right here, to walk away with the gold, to walk away as world champ, going out of SummerSlam. I'm very excited. When he came back, this matchup was not really on my radar as something that I necessarily wanted to see.
Really?
But now that I've seen the graphic, it's just one of those. It's just one of those that it didn't really pop into my head because there were so many other Punk matches I was thinking of between Roman and between Drew McIntyre and Seth and a couple other guys. Also had the same thought tonight. Sidebar: when I saw Penta and Gunther standing side by side backstage, I saw them and went, yes, immediately. Yes, I need to see those two. But I'm excited for this. I think it's a great opportunity for both of them. I think it's a great opportunity for Punk to recapture a lot of that excitement that he had. Not saying that he's lost it, but just to prove himself even more, even as he's gotten older. I thought he looked great tonight. And I think he can do it again. And Gunther's one of those guys that he made Goldberg look decent, which I know we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. He made Goldberg look decent, so I'm expecting a lot more out of Punk. And so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great main event. If I had to pick right now, I'm leaning towards a Punk win just because Rollins does have the briefcase. Even if he is hurt, he's got a year. And, I would love it if we didn't hear anything about Seth from now until whenever he returned and he just showed up and cashed in.
Yep.
I think that would be the best way to go for that. So as a diehard Punk fan, I love this spot for him, and I'm looking forward to SummerSlam.
And yeah, it's like we've talked about for a long time, man. CM Punk has many, many, many more years behind him than he does ahead of him. And if you're going to put the world title on him, you better go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Would it have been sweeter for him to win it from Seth Rollins? Oh, 100%. Absolutely, it would have. But, injuries happen, and, we can't do anything about that.
And there's a scenario where he does win it back from Seth, at some point down the line, maybe at WrestleMania or, wherever.
Yeah, that's 100% true. All right. If you are in the YouTube chat with us, drop those comments, drop those questions live. Let us know that you are here, subscribed if you haven't already. We would appreciate that so much. If you are just listening on podcast, make sure you're following on whatever platform you have chosen. If you're watching the replay, you can still drop those comments. We respond to each and every one of those. Andy, speaking of injuries and a loaded week of wrestling, it's just one hit after another, man. I feel like the injury bug is just across wrestling right now, not just the WWE. And normally we don't talk a lot about AEW on this show, quite frankly, because I would sound like an idiot because I don't watch the product and I wouldn't have a clue what's going on, nor do I really care what's going on. But something did catch my attention over the weekend, and that was the incredible heartfelt speech from Adam Cole at All In on Saturday, letting us know that he was not medically cleared to compete and that he is going to be gone for a while. He's not thinking about retirement yet, but Andy, you could see it all over his face and you could hear it in his voice that unfortunately retirement for Adam Cole is a real possibility.
Yeah, we talk about all the time the beautiful side of professional wrestling, and this is the flip side of this. I mean, this is the ugly side of it that a lot of people don't really realize until it happens to somebody, that it's, like they say, it's not ballet. It's a demanding physically sport. And Adam Cole is one of both of our favorites. I mean, he's one of those guys that in the right situation, he's the face of a company. He is a world champion. He is, one of the best wrestlers in the world, one of the best character guys in the world, one of the best promo guys too, I think, as well. So just to see that happen and to hear it in his voice is just heartbreaking to see all that happen. Guys like Danielson and Edge and even Paige, like they give us hope for wrestlers to come back at some point,
Christian.
maybe, and Christian, just to make a return and to, come back at some point. And we hope that for Adam Cole, but we just hope, number one, that he gets healthy, that, everything's all right. It's just, it sucks that it happened basically, I mean, right at the height of his career when he jumped ship to AEW and then got hurt. And then it just seems like he's been plagued with injuries ever since. So hope nothing but the best for him. Hope nothing but a speedy recovery for him.
If you are WWE fans like myself and you haven't really kept up with Adam Cole and AEW, honestly, and I don't mean to sound terrible when I say this, there hasn't been a whole lot to keep up with because, like you said, Andy, he's been injured, I feel like, more than he's been active since he went to AEW in 2021. He's done a couple of things. Was the current TNT champion. He won the Owen Hart tournament, the first one, right? Or the second one?
Yeah, he won I think him and Britt won the first one.
That's what I thought. They won the first one. I'm not sure if has he held gold in AEW outside of that?
I believe they won the trios tag titles.
Okay.
And he was tag champs with MJF.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
during their big story.
I forgot about that. Yes, they were tag team champions as well. So all that to say, though, WWE, AEW, whatever. Andy, you were a fan of Adam Cole long before any of this. You knew about the guy well before any of the rest of us did. If this is, in fact, a career and we find out that Adam Cole's never going to wrestle again. Obviously, here at Squared Circle Radio, we're going to do a much longer episode talking about the career of Adam Cole and what our favorite memories are. But just right now, when you think back to Adam Cole's career, what are some things that stand out to you as some of your favorites?
Well, there are two that stick out the most. One, from a fan personal perspective, getting to meet him twice is, a highlight of my wrestling career, wrestling life. Getting to meet him. I met him once outside of the building at NXT when it was here in Nashville. Right after he had that brutal, I believe it was an unsanctioned match with Aleister Black.
Yes.
And so we talked to him for a little bit and then met him at WrestleCon in Dallas. One of the, if not the nicest professional wrestlers I have ever met in my life. Even when he was a heel in NXT, he always took time to talk to fans outside the building and meet with them and take pictures and everything like that. So just a class act. But if we're talking about like his in-ring career, the moment I became a diehard Adam Cole fan is the night he joined Bullet Club. Because just the way they did it, I'll never forget. It was Colt Cabana versus Jay Lethal, and in Bullet Club fashion, the lights go out, they come back on. The Young Bucks are in the ring, holding up 2 T-shirts, trying to invite them to the Bullet Club. The lights go out again, they come back up. The T-shirts are gone, and Adam Cole is standing in the middle of the ring with a Bullet Club T-shirt. They super kick. I mean, it was 50 super kicks all around the entire building. The commentators got it. The Young Bucks' dad got a super kick. They broke a camera. They spray painted it. I mean, it felt like an old school NWO segment of just chaos and being awesome and being cool. And from that moment on, I was a diehard Adam Cole fan. I was a big fan of him before, but that was the moment where I was like, this guy just gets it. This guy is so awesome to look at. So that's probably like the top moment that I remember is the night he joined Bullet Club.
Yeah, I will echo exactly what you said on a personal level. I got to meet Adam Cole twice as well. Once at WrestleCon, and then once at my former employer. He came when AEW was in Nashville. I think it was the first time that AEW was in Nashville. They were doing some media through comicbook.com. So they came into our studios because we shared a studio with Comic Book. And Adam Cole literally just sat outside of the lobby and talked shop with us for like an hour, just telling random stories and just being a cool dude. And he had no problem taking a picture. And he was the absolute nicest, if not the nicest wrestler I've ever met. I put him and AJ Styles like on the same level.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And then seeing him on a professional level, my favorite moment was actually seeing him in person again, but I was in the crowd. Take over Brooklyn the weekend of WrestleMania 35, 2 out of 3 falls versus Johnny Gargano. Just absolutely the best match I've ever seen in person. Those two guys just tore the house down. Adam Cole didn't win that night, but my goodness, I think that ended his No, the title was vacant that night. His reign started the month or 2 after that, I think.
He beat Johnny for the title.
He beat Johnny for the title at TakeOver 30, I think is what it was. But regardless, seeing those two tear the house down in person was just so much fun. So again, we will talk Adam Cole on a much more extensive level once we find out more news. Hopefully it's a long way away, Andy. Hopefully he is able to fight this and be able to get cleared and be able to wrestle, of course, because clearly what this dude was put on the earth to do. He is one of the best of our generation. There is no doubt about that. Speaking of maybe not one of the best of our generation, one of the most.
If you're segueing to what I think you are, we're about to have a real big beef.
Oh, I segued that way on purpose because I know you would very much enjoy it. I will call it one of the most memorable of our generation. A career came to an end over the weekend. WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg has wrestled his final match. He fell in defeat to Gunther at Saturday night's main event. And you mentioned it a few minutes ago, man. Gunther got a lot out of Goldberg. It was one of Goldberg's better WWE showings, counting his 2003 run. I mean, I put it up there with one of his best WWE matches ever.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about recency, I mean, I think it's hard to count his first match back against Brock because it was just so quick, but it's probably my favorite one of his recent run. And then he had that like random match against Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam a couple years ago that he killed Dolph, and Dolph sold for him like a madman.
Dolph makes anybody look good though.
Yeah, but so that's up there. But for like a bell to bell wrestling match, this was one of the better ones from Goldberg over the last couple of years. Gunther made him look kind of like the old Goldberg a little bit, and just kind of sold around for him without sacrificing his own character. And that's, I think, what I appreciate the most is I don't think there's anybody in his second run in WWE outside of Brock and now Gunther that Goldberg did not wrestle and that person came out looking better. Like I even when they beat him, I don't really see that. I mean, like if you look at what happened with The Fiend, if you look at what happened with Kevin Owens, I think the only other one maybe Braun Strowman because of the COVID year, but that was so I don't really count that one either because it was just so wild. But it was a fantastic retirement match, exactly what it needed to be. Goldberg hit all the big moves. He did all the things. His entrance, I actually really enjoyed his entrance of the former WCW security guy knocking on his door and being surrounded by his friends and family and his friend, everybody around him. And then coming out, it was a really, really cool moment. But thank God Gunther won. That's all I was thinking the whole time is, yeah, this is great. Gunther needs to win. Please let Gunther win. And he did. And I'm happy for that.
I had no doubt in my mind that Goldberg was not winning this match. I didn't think that Gunther would choke him out. I thought we would get a pin, but it is what it is. I wasn't mad at it. And yes, you pointed it out. Doug Dillinger accompanying him to the ring just like he did in the 90s. Oh, it was so good. I just wish they hadn't shown Doug earlier in the night so that because they spoiled it.
Yeah, but to be honest, if I saw him at the front at the door knock on Goldberg, I'd be going, I don't know who this dude is. So the fact that they kind of said it beforehand made that moment even better.
Yeah.
So I kind of get why they did it.
It definitely brought me back to seeing Goldberg when he looked, I don't know, more like this back in 1998, carrying the big gold belt and as jacked up as he was walking through those fireworks there, as you're seeing on your YouTube screen. Andy, I know that you missed this run of Goldberg because you were a wee little toddler, but I remember like it was yesterday. But obviously you have gone on record several times on this podcast to say that the majority of your memories of Goldberg are bad. And you would rather not have had Goldberg. But now that his career is over, when you look back at it, he was easily one of the most captivating wrestlers of all time and literally just took the wrestling world by storm. And you can easily see, Andy, why Eric Bischoff strapped the dang rocket to his back and had 173 straight wins in the late 90s and just made him the face of WCW out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a huge Goldberg fan. I've gone on record to say that, but I've also acknowledged that his first run in WCW and his just appearance alone, it all makes sense why they did what they did. Because he was the only guy on the roster who looked just absolutely intimidating. I get it. Like Kevin Nash is a big dude and Scott Hall was a big dude and something like Sting's a big dude. But there ain't nobody the size of Goldberg until Brock Lesnar came along. Like there ain't nobody the size of Bill Goldberg. And yeah, he wasn't the greatest wrestler, but he wrestled in a time where you didn't have to be the greatest wrestler to be a massive draw.
Or in a company where you didn't have to be the greatest wrestler.
Exactly. And that, and you know what? It worked for them at the time. It was a strength of theirs, and they led into it. They laid all their cards out on the table. And Goldberg helped WCW be as successful as it was. And I don't think there's any arguments, against that as well. And you see that, I mean, that picture you showed of him in the pyro holding that WCW championship belt. He's, weirdly enough, when I see that belt, he's one of the first guys I think of.
Yes.
When I see that belt, just because of the impact of the night he won it and everything that kind of happened with it. Just, a very historic career. Kind of hurts me to say this, deservedly to be in the Hall of Fame, deserved to be revered by many. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I know that I'm a big fan of that I know they're not a good wrestler. Right. And that's fine because they're entertaining. Yep. And that's what Bill Goldberg was, is he was entertaining all the time. And he was never really playing a character. He was him just ramped up to 1,000. And we always say that's what makes a professional wrestler the best, is when they just are themselves times 10. And that's what he was.
July 14th, 2025, 10:15 Central Time. Andy has just said the nicest thing about Bill Goldberg he's ever said in his life.
Can I tell you what was in my mind the whole time while I'm talking?
Oh, no.
The picture of the replay of him pinning Kevin Owens and the Fiend in my head over and over again. So as I'm talking, my blood is still boiling a little bit, but that's okay.
I choose to look back at the happier times of Bill Goldberg, even the Roman Reigns match in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
The Drew McIntyre match at the Royal Rumble.
I forgot about those two until you just mentioned them. Yeah.
Oh, still some good things. And of course, the Dolph thing is just the best part of the Dolph thing is him calling Goldberg back to the ring and telling him that he needed more. And is that all you got? And that's so good.
That was a good moment.
Oh my goodness. I got a comment in the YouTube chat from City Kitty. Is this a mirage? Or are you guys actually live? We are here. If you missed the beginning of the show, we had a royal screw up with a graphic and all this other stuff. And we are here. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. Squared Circle Radio is on the air on the YouTube channel. So drop those comments and questions. If you're watching the replay, drop the comments anyway. We'll reply to those as well. And if you are listening on podcast, just make sure you follow wherever you are listening. We got tons more to talk about. Before we get there, though, Andy, Saturday night's main event, Goldberg's final match. What were some other takeaways, though, from you from this past Saturday night's main event? I know we already talked about Seth Rollins, talked about Goldberg. What else stood out to you?
I mean, the Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso match kind of did what it needed to do, and set up, for SummerSlam. And anytime Jacob Fatu comes into the middle of the ring, just shaking and gyrating like a madman, I'm always on board for that. So I was a big fan of that. And I really liked, just all the way. I love when they do these Saturday night main events, just because they do a great job of making old school wrestling, but in a modern twist. And it works so well for them right now. So I always look forward to when one of these Saturday night's main events show up.
It seems like there's a continued intentional effort, Andy, to make it better than the last time. It's like they're not using the same thing every single time. They always find a way to make it a little bit better, a little bit different, a little more nostalgic or whatever. It's like the entrance way looked a little bit better this time. I don't know why, but it did. It's like they're tweaking graphics and they're doing this. And I'm like, literally the two things that I wrote down is exactly what you just said. This Solo Sikoa stuff, I don't know why I'm really intrigued with it right now with the MFT and his faction and his family tree and whatever. I don't know why I'm so intrigued with it right now, but I am. Like, I'm on board. I made the prediction just to go against you at Night of Champions for the championship. But honestly, like, I'm so glad they pulled the trigger on that, because it just makes sense. What's the best way for a babyface to get more reaction? Chase a championship, not have one. And brother, when Jacob Fatu is on your heels, like you just said, come on, man, everybody is shaking. So, like, I think this is fantastic. I think they're doing a really nice job with this Solo stuff. Former college professor of mine, Dr. Dennis Durst, in the chat. What a pop for the OTC, man. It's always good when Roman's back. I'm just anxious to see how it happens. Everybody was saying, oh, he's coming back at Saturday night's main event. Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. Well, he proved the internet wrong again, just like he always does. We appreciate you guys being with us. Before we move on, let's take a little pause and hear a word from our friend, SportsWire Radio.
Looking for all the latest happenings in the world of sports and wrestling? Well, you're in luck because SportsWire Radio has you covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. With great shows in the world of sports, such as the Pinstripe Chronicles, hosted by Uncle Tats, Donald Stewart, and Rob Barrows. New York Baseball Talk with Chris Bazaya and Rob Maraska. The Liftoff Jets, also hosted by Chris Bazaya and Sharman Phillip. Neil Villapiano and the Devil's State of Mind. Randy Dillon's Hockey Fan Chat. In the world of wrestling, SportsWire Radio has you covered with Squared Circle Radio, featuring Chris Belcher, Andy York, and Jared Justice. Those sit-down marks with DB, Primo, AJ, and Michael. A work in progress, featuring the Mayor of Canton, Piles, and Glenn Abbott. You can catch all of these great shows and more anytime, anywhere, and any place via the Listen Live button on SportsWireRadio.org, and you can also catch SportsWire Radio anytime on YouTube at SportsWire Radio 6579 to catch all the latest happenings in the world of wrestling. SportsWire Radio has you covered. It's all sports matters and all wrestling matters here on SportsWire Radio. I am your host, the owner of SportsWire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation, and one of the owners of the Pride Wrestling Federation. Your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce.
City Kitty in the chat. The OTC is back. You guys are back. A coincidence? It's Andy. It's like we planned it, man. It's just like we planned it. The new shield. That's it.
New shield. We're, there we go. We're in
there we go. Get my fist tight. You have to be Ambrose. That's the only caveat.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Okay, good.
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay. I can be Seth Rollins. It's okay. I just can't be Ambrose. I can't. I mean, I saw some highlights of this Texas Death match.
Take a fork to the forehead.
I can't take a fork to the forehead like that, man. I can't do that.
That was brutal.
My complexion's too good. I can't do that. I'm just kidding.
That was brutal.
Total joke. Yeah. I saw Darby Allin come down, and I saw Danielson and some crazy nonsense.
It was the AEW version of sort of what we got in WrestleMania 40. Just the fact that it was overbooked nonsense that shouldn't really work, but in the circumstances, they absolutely worked. With Brian Danielson coming back in a mask, hitting the psycho knee, and then ripping the mask off, just yes chanting everywhere as he's beating the crap out of everybody. Yep. Then Darby just repels from the ceiling out of nowhere. And the Bucks come out. I mean, it was just Swerve comes out, Ospreay comes out, and just the brutality. The first Texas Death match between these two guys was rough, was brutal. This one matched it, if not, exceeded it in some way. So I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I know everybody's not going to enjoy it, but for somebody who likes hardcore professional wrestling like that, it was everything I needed it to be. It was awesome.
I think every AEW fan's dream is a Texas Death match, sudden death, if you want to call it that, between you put Moxley and Page and Swerve and Darby all in there together. And
yes.
I mean, somebody is going to die in that match.
I mean, listen, if you just throw in Prime Cactus Jack and Prime Terry Funk and all that,
and New Jack.
Oh, please. And you know what? Sabu and Sandman. Let's just throw everybody in there and just watch the pure carnage unleash. I am all for that.
Well, let's get back to something that is not quite as much carnage. Dr. Durst in the chat, Bailey Lyre was a great kickoff. Listen, the women's division on both sides is pretty interesting right now. Something happened, though, Andy, this weekend that I did not expect. An unexpected turn in the women's division. And that was Naomi cashing in not on Tiffany Stratton, but during the Io Sky Rhea Ripley match at Evolution to become the women's world champion on Raw, not on SmackDown. Now we know that Io, Rhea, and Naomi will compete for that championship in a triple threat match at SummerSlam. So, Andy, I'll put it to you this way. I'm all for the shock factor. I don't think anybody saw that one coming.
Yeah.
But just to lead to a triple threat for maybe her to drop it at SummerSlam, like, how do you see all this working out?
The same way I saw WrestleMania that you said I was crazy when I predicted Io to win.
Oh, okay.
I still think I think Naomi wins. Listen, from a booking perspective, if you're building towards Naomi and Jade, this doesn't seem like a logical
Or
move.
Bianca.
Yeah. However, from a character perspective of Naomi being afraid of Jade and not wanting to face her, why would she not cash in on Rhea or Io? Like, I think to me, that's what makes this make the most sense of now she can look at Jade and say, oh, you can't face me at SummerSlam. Like, you can't take my title now. You can't do this. So I think that, like, to me, that makes the most sense from a character perspective, that you can still, what WWE loves doing right now is build a story without the two actually interacting, but just like parallel paths that, you know, at some point they have to interact again. They have to connect again. And so I think they're doing a fantastic job with that. I think Naomi being a champion is a brilliant decision. I think this new character has been absolutely phenomenal since she turned heel. Everything about it has been perfect. And this is what really caps it off for me. Is her being a world champion. You put her in there with two of the fan favorites right now, have her walk out and win. Even if, like, she wins after Rhea hits a riptide on Io, she just grabs Rhea, throws her out of the ring, and pins Io and wins that way. Like, I think anything like that works really well for her to build up this heel character even more and give Naomi a chance to really shine.
Yep. I have nothing against Naomi being champion. Let me just go on the record and say that right now. I've always been a huge fan of Naomi. I'm glad that she's champion. It's just, it's the same. Maybe it is the same thing as WrestleMania. Like we were saying, why in the world did Io win? And she walks into WrestleMania against all the odds and comes out as champion. Maybe that happens with Naomi. I think my biggest, I don't know, head scratcher here is I thought with the interaction between Jade, Bianca, and Naomi at Saturday night's main event, and the way that Bianca was looking at Jade, Jade wouldn't look at Bianca, that tension is still there. Jade knows something, and I thought we were sort of going to get a resolution there, but now it just, I don't know, it seems like we're taking a weird sidestep with Naomi being champion on the other brand. The draft is rumored to be coming up soon. That doesn't mean Jade has to win at SummerSlam. Maybe she does. I don't know. I don't know. Some weird combination after the draft, maybe. But Andy, this has been one of the longest storylines going in the company, and I'd kind of like to see a resolution, if I'm honest.
The same is true with the Bloodline for me. Like, this Bloodline storyline, they're getting to the point where they're just naming the tall guy Tala Tonga now. So we're just kind of.
I thought it was so when they said that, I'm like, Tala, I get it.
We are stretching this thing out for everything that it's worth at this point.
Yeah.
This story has been going on really long. I think that's one of, like, Triple H's Achilles heels is we like long-term storytelling. Some of these stories have got to end at some point. Like, we've got to put a definitive period at the end of this sentence at some point. And I feel like we're there with the Bloodline. I feel like we're there with Judgment. I feel like we're way past there with Judgment Day.
Yes, Judgment Day is.
And this one's not, like, there for me, but we're getting closer and closer and closer to it.
Yeah, I'm glad with the Bloodline story that they at least are now doing the MFT thing, and they're calling it something a little bit different. Like, we know it's still the Bloodline, but Solo has embraced that this is not the Bloodline anymore. It's my family. And so we're sort of like, you know, we're figuring that out. So that's one of the reasons I'm okay with it. But yeah, like, I like all the people in this. Yes, City Kitty in the chat. Bloodline is never ending. I mean, it goes on forever. Roman just had another kid, if I'm not mistaken. That's like his 5th or 6th kid. I mean,
Zilla Fatu is still out there.
Zilla's out there, and he's got kids, and Jimmy has a couple of kids, and Jay's got some kids, and
Naomi and Nia haven't joined yet.
They haven't even joined.
Rikishi get involved in this thing. We got to get Rikishi involved in this thing.
So yes, City Kitty, I know that the bloodline story is never ending. Yes, Andy, I know it's never ending. Guess what? If they keep having kids, it's never going to end. They're all going to get into wrestling. That's the problem. They're all into wrestling. Never going to end.
That's fine. We can just change the story a little bit. We can just figure out something else, which I agree. Like I think not naming it the bloodline and giving it a different feel is great. But I also kind of want to see these guys feud against somebody other than Samoans too. Like I want them to go after somebody else for once.
Right. Yes, City Kitty confirms in the chat, 6th child for Roman Reigns. That's what I thought. I thought I saw that. All right. Let's get to one more big topic of discussion that has come up since we took a little 2 or 3 week hiatus, however long it was. Things have gotten in the way and I've sort of, lost track of time. But one of the big storylines that has come up, Andy, that's been hot in the internet wrestling community, shall we say, is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes, we know he won the King of the Ring. That's going to earn him a shot at John Cena at SummerSlam. And as he said in his promo at the end of this match with Randy Orton, I'm ready to be QB1. I'm ready to get the ball back. You have just been holding this for me, and now here I am. I'm back. Yada, yada, yada. Well, Andy, before this match at Night of Champions happened, Cody Rhodes did an interesting interview at Fanatics Fest with Kay Adams, which Kay Adams, if you guys know, she's a sportscaster and she's a bit of a newer wrestling fan, but I think she went to the premiere at Netflix and she's been a fan ever since, and et cetera, but whatever. Regardless, she has a sports show, so that was a natural interview. And she asked Cody about being a babyface. And Cody said that he loves being a babyface, but that run is coming to an end. And she said, okay, when will we know that it's coming to an end? And Cody said, when the internet hates it. That's when it's coming to an end. That's when we're going to know, when the internet hates it. And she said, okay, do you have a time frame on this? And he said around a year or two. But in the way that he said it, he sort of left it up to whenever the people decide. That's when I'm going to be a heel. He referenced The Rock and the selling of the soul stuff and all this other stuff. So it got the internet buzzing. Oh, are we getting a heel Cody? Are we getting a heel Cody? Blah, blah, blah. And then he does the little thing where he actually cheats against Randy Orton, we'll say, using the exposed turnbuckle, something he wouldn't do against John Cena. And everybody starts fueling this even more. Cody Rhodes heel, Cody Rhodes heel. And then, Andy, last week, he sends out this tweet that says, don't flinch. Thank you all for riding with me all this time. Love you for it. Excited for what we do next. And the internet blew up, Andy, because Cody also wasn't on SmackDown this week. What is happening with Cody Rhodes? What do you make of, obviously, Cody is great at just stirring the pot and dropping bombs and just letting you think whatever you want to think. What do you think about all this?
I believe absolutely nothing Cody Rhodes ever says, and that's nothing against him, but it's just because of the fact that that man is a notorious liar, because he knows that we run with everything that we're given. I mean, we run with everything that we're given.
Yep.
Now, that being said, do I want to see a full-on heel Cody Rhodes? Absolutely, I do. I mean, I've been talking on this podcast for a long time about Homelander Cody. I want to see Homelander Cody. I want to see, the night he comes out and his hair is not blonde anymore, but it's dark. And he comes out and is just a vicious, maniacal heel that is so different than the Cody Rhodes we see now. Because if you followed him on the independent scene after he left WWE, when the dude's a heel, he can be downright nasty when he needs to be. Like, just despicable. And so to see him in WWE with that, I think it's great. But what makes that so interesting is he said in the interview when the fans hate it. And to me, that screams exactly what happened in AEW. Of yes, he was quote unquote on paper a babyface.
Yep.
If you asked every person during that time in AEW, fan wise, including myself, who the biggest heel in AEW was, the answer was Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Just because, is that John Cena mentality of I'm getting reaction. They hate me. In my eyes, I'm a babyface. I'm going to do babyface things, and they're going to hate me for it, and that makes me a heel. It's like in their eyes. So maybe at SummerSlam we get a sort of passing of the torch with that, and we kind of see that happen and take place. But when he eventually like turns heel, like full on, I don't think a lot of people are going to be ready for that version of Cody.
City Kitty in the chat is not ready for a heel Cody. I see the jelly roll comment. I'm gonna get there. Just hang tight. I'm gonna get there as soon as we finish this Cody discussion. I'm getting there. Hang tight. City Kitty also says Cody's gonna have to be a heel when he gets the championship back from Cena. See, I don't think so. Sam Roberts said it this way. He thought that the better caveat for John Cena turning back babyface, not necessarily a double turn with he and Cody, but that the better caveat for him being babyface would be Seth Rollins. Now that Seth Rollins is on the shelf, probably not going to happen, but I don't think you have to have a double turn at SummerSlam in order to make Cena a babyface again. A genuine handshake between Cena and Cody, that's probably going to be enough, honestly, to flip the script for Cena. We may look back next year, hindsight, and saying that was the start of Cody's heel run. We just didn't know it. But all that to say, Andy, speaking of Cena, we all wondered and speculated for so many years about what a Cena heel run would look like. And as great as we think Cody is, the Cena heel run hasn't been all roses, I want to say.
Yeah.
I would trust that Cody, as hard as he works as a babyface, would work that hard as a heel. But do you have any reservations about a WWE heel version of Cody Rhodes?
No, because at this point has such a repertoire in WWE and a reputation in WWE that it's kind of like Roman and Cena in some ways, and The Rock, that he can kind of do whatever he wants to do and is not going to get in a lot of trouble for it. So he's like, I could see him like pushing the edge a lot, and that most people probably wouldn't be allowed to do, but just because he's Cody, he can get away with it. Sure. I think the difference between this version, between what we would get with a Cody heel turn and what we got with Cena, is Cena's telling the truth in everything he says.
Yep.
But he's not really backing it up in the ring in a lot of ways. And I think that's where like the biggest disconnect is. Plus, he's not there every week, which it's fine. But when he is there, we haven't had that moment where he just goes back and forth. The pipe bomb is probably the closest thing, but we haven't had that moment where they've just been going back and forth, and we see a full-on heel Cena cutting a promo on a baby face, like face-to-face, that kind of moment. We haven't really got that yet. When it comes to Cody, I could see him sort of like what Drew McIntyre was last year, going into this year too, of just like, he is a troll and he's a jerk, and he can just really come out and just like eviscerate people on the mic, eviscerate your favorite babyface on the mic. So I don't really have a lot of reservations about it. I think it would work out better. Also, just because Cena hasn't been a heel in how long? So like there's a lot of trepidation, especially in this era of wrestling, whereas Cody seems to have his finger on the pulse more and can push that edge and push that button even more. Because here's the thing. When we think of a heel, we think of somebody like a Kevin Owens at times who, yeah, they're the bad guy, but we love them because they're the bad guy.
Mhm.
I think Cody and MJF are going to be a lot of in similarity of, no, I'm a heel. Like, you are going to hate me when we do this. You're going to despise me because I am supposed to be the bad guy in this.
Yeah. It's such a long shot, and it's such a long way from where we are right now that it's so hard to see. I
Yeah.
mean, I know, like I just said a few minutes ago, and I believe this wholeheartedly. I see and I appreciate how hard that Cody Rhodes works to be QB1, to be the
Yeah.
face of WWE, to be that guy that can be called upon and deliver, and he can stay after every event and take every picture and sign every autograph. I see how hard he works, and I know he'll work that hard to be a heel, and probably won't have any merch because that's what a true heel does. And he, he will eviscerate people on the mic, and he will be a troll, like you just said. The problem with the whole thing, Andy, is that he's so beloved right now that he can back it up in the ring. And I think people are going to appreciate Cody they're going to see that hard work that he's doing and appreciate it. I'm not saying he's not going to get any boos. I'm not saying he can't be a heel. He is such a mega star right now. I know we use that word with LA Knight, but Cody is the mega star right now. It's going to be so hard and such a hard left turn.
I agree, and that's why the initial turn has to be as impactful as possible.
Yes.
To where, I mean, listen, I know he would be up for it, but like the first thing that came to my mind was beating up a legend, like a bloody pulp, like a Ric Flair, or like a beloved legend that just comes out and he just absolutely eviscerates them and brutalizes them. And, that kind of thing. Or, maybe we get 3 matches out of Cena and Cody, where Cena was the heel and won at WrestleMania. Maybe Cody wins the belt back at SummerSlam and we have this passing of the torch. And then it seems like a babyface the last match. And Cody just absolutely murders him on live TV, leaves him bloodied and leaves him. That's the final image of John Cena in WWE, is that moment. I think you could do something like that to just sear in people's mind. No, Cody's the bad guy now. Like, Cody's the villain. Much like, I mean, one of the most impactful heel turns I remember is the night that Dean turned on Seth.
Yeah,
the same night that Roman announced he had leukemia. Like, that moment left an impact. I know the story after that was horrible and like nothing really worked after that, but that moment was so impactful just because of when it happened and where it happened. And I think the same thing could be true with Cody when he turns heel.
Does he align with Rock? Is that how he does it?
I hope not. I kind of don't want The Rock to be involved in anything else right now.
I'll tell you this: in order for this heel turn,
himself with Paul Heyman.
Yes, he could do that. I'll tell you, in order for this heel turn to work, I know Cena has, gone on record and said that, we're not getting what we want or whatever. In order for the Cody heel turn to work, the music has to go. Like, it has to go. We have to have different music. Like, it just, I think it's impossible. The colors have to go and the music has to go. And we can't be a heel wearing American flags. We just can't do it. Sorry.
Well, how's it going to cover up the neck tattoo?
Good question.
He could just put
that's for him
something over like an X, or just like something to like mess it up.
Yeah, that's true. That's for him to figure out, not us. That's his mistake.
That's why I don't get
So John Cena versus Cody Rhodes is going to be the main event of SummerSlam. We assume night number 2. It'll be the second of a possible 3-match series between these two. Also at SummerSlam, it has been announced, Dr. Durst had commented earlier, is this jelly roll stuff kind of hokey? Of course, he is referring to Jelly Roll getting involved in Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. So now at SummerSlam, it is Randy Orton teaming with Jelly Roll. Yes, Grammy-nominated country superstar Jelly Roll against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. Andy, I know what my thoughts are, but I'm going to ask you your thoughts first. Do you think it's hokey? Are you fine with it? I mean, I think we saw this coming at SummerSlam. Was it last year, 2 years ago, whatever it was?
Something like that.
So I think we saw this coming, right?
Yeah, I will say yes, it is hokey, and not in a bad way necessarily.
Okay.
In the normal like WWE celebrity way. I'm not expecting him to be like Bad Bunny. Although if he pulls out a Canadian Destroyer, I will lose my mind.
Bro, you know he's going to do something like that. You know
he'll
will.
do like a splash or something from the top. He'll do something crazy. I'm not expecting like anything. I'm not expecting a great wrestling match. I think it's going to be entertaining though. I mean, listen, the punch he threw at Logan Paul looked pretty good. Like it didn't look bad. He sold the Claymore pretty well. Mm-hmm. I know he was in a knelt down position, but he sold it pretty well.
Yep.
My initial reaction, and this is again, we're early booking. This is how Randy Orton turns heel.
Oh, I love that.
Punch Jelly Roll at the end of the match because they lose.
I love that. That's fun.
Like to me, that's the first thing that popped in my mind after all this happened was, so this is how we turn Randy. Like Randy's going to lose his mind, RKO him at the end, and then punt him because we've been waiting for the punt for a while.
Yep.
And Jelly Roll goes away, and we kind of do that thing. So I think it's hokey, but I think it's to serve a purpose, not just to have a celebrity on the air. Will I be wrong? Probably. Is it already better than Travis Scott's involvement in WrestleMania 40? Absolutely. So I'm fine with it.
That's true. That is very true. I'll say this. A lot of the internet wrestling community is crapping all over this already. Most of them are AEW fans. What were these Big Boom, AJ, something or other, TikTok people?
Oh, yeah.
AEW?
Hey, listen. You can say all you want, but little AJ, a Big Justice, which is the kid, hits a better spear than about 90% of professional wrestlers. I don't know if you saw the clip of it, but he threw his full body weight into it. I was impressed when I saw it.
All I'm saying is Jelly Roll hasn't wrestled yet, so let's not crap on this too much. AEW fans, you had your TikTok stars, so WWE can have their celebrities as well. It's all entertainment.
I agree. To be fair, the celebrities were on the pre-show. So I get that there is a difference. However, I think there is a place for both at both. Like, I think if AEW is going to do it, they did it the right way in the pre-show, getting involved in a match, doing it that way, versus WWE, who they're all about the big spectacle. Having Jelly Roll in a match, why not do it? Like, I think, especially at SummerSlam, I don't think
he's willing to do it. He's dropped
how
many pounds?
It's probably his idea.
Yeah.
He looks great.
Yep.
He looks great. So I'm excited for it. I don't think it's going to be a great match, like I said, but I think it's going to be entertaining. Plus, you've got Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre in there and Logan Paul. So, like, they're going to carry 99% of it.
Sure.
And then when he hits a big move off the top and surprises people, then I think it's going to work out well.
Yep. I think so. I think you're right. All right. Well, man, we've been absent for a couple of weeks, but we've gone a little over an hour, and I would say that Stella has found her groove. I think we did okay tonight. I think it's not been too bad. I think we know what we're doing.
Throw the Roman graphic back up, see if it works.
Yeah, let me throw the Roman graphic. Let me just make sure this works. Ready?
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, I told you I made it work. I remember how to do this thing. But in all seriousness, thank you guys. We appreciate you joining us. We apologize for being out for a couple of weeks, but we are back. I mean, at least I am. Andy's going to be out next week, but there will be a show. We will have a guest TBD. So we're working on that, but we will be back. Same bat time, same bat channel. Make sure that you are subscribed if you haven't already. Tell a friend, share it on social media. We would appreciate that so very much. Give us a like. That helps the visibility of the show. Drop us a comment. we'll be sure to respond to you as well. Shout out to our friends over at WSN and SportsWire Radio. Thank you for their support. Always playing our shows and always drumming up the audience on social media. We would appreciate it if you do the same. Andy, it's been a fun show, man. SummerSlam is 2 weeks away.
And then I hope we have a little break before the next one, because I feel like every 2 weeks we've been having a pay-per-view.
3 weeks after that is Clash in Paris.
We need a longer period than 2 to 3 weeks before a pay-per-view. We got to let some of these stories develop a little bit more.
Listen, I said this to our buddy, my brother from another mother, Jared Justice. I said this to him on the phone. I was like, look, I don't necessarily like cramming all these big events together, but what I do enjoy is not having to have the same people on every pay-per-view.
Yes.
So that's a way that you let stories breathe. You're not rushing this point of the story just to have the same match, to have the same match, to have the same match.
Absolutely.
We at least get different people. So it makes the events feel big, but it has different people and it gives different people the spotlight.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think my only caveat would be for your big pay-per-views, like your WrestleManias and your SummerSlams, I would spread them out a little bit more than 2 weeks after after the last pay-per-view to give those stories, because those two biggest shows of the year, you got to let those breathe a little bit more. But every other time, I completely agree. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn at Night of Champions if that wasn't the case. So I completely agree.
100%. All right. Again, we appreciate you guys so much for being with us on another edition of Squared Circle Radio Live. Again, drop those comments, drop those questions, subscribe if you haven't already. That's my tag team partner, the Young Buck, Andy York. My name is Chris Belcher. Thank you for being with us, and we will catch you guys down the road.